in Boston to take on the 2 seed out east in the Celtics. Who you got winning this series? Please let me know in the comment section below and in how many games. I'm not going to lie to you guys. This is one of my series that I believe to be not as competitive as other series. I got most of these series in the first round of the playoffs going 6-7 games. This one, I do not. I got the Boston Celtics beating the Atlanta Hawks in 5 games. And I know that might come across as very disrespectful to Atlanta, who, by the way, I mean, they've been one of the teams in the mix out east over the last few years. I actually think Atlanta would have fared better against the Milwaukee Bucks. They're one of the few teams that match up well against Giannis and the Bucks. They got guards that can keep away from Giannis, per se, meaning they got guys that don't have to just necessarily attack the rim to have success against Milwaukee. They got guys like Trae Young, who obviously is trying to shoot the 3. DeJounte can live in that mid-range area. Also, you got guys like Bogdanovich and Sadiq Bey that can play on the perimeter as well. John Collins is a guy that doesn't necessarily need the basketball. Their center in the Kongu and also in Clint Capella, they don't have to score 15, 20 points. They can keep the action away from Giannis. Giannis not only can control a game offensively, but he can definitely do it defensively. I actually thought the Atlanta Hawks matched up better against the Milwaukee Bucks, but hey, give them credit. They went to Miami, took care of business, and now they got a good old 2 versus 7 matchup against the Boston Celtics. I don't see a world where Boston loses this series. It's going to be a perimeter game. Now these same Atlanta guards and forwards that I believe would have had success against Milwaukee, now they got to deal with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum on the perimeter, and that's just a nightmare for anybody. This is the reigning Eastern Conference champion Boston Celtics we're talking about. Let's put a little respect on their name and what they accomplished just a season ago. Jaylen Brown, obviously, he's got Georgia roots. He played in Atlanta. This dude's going to always give it to the Hawks every time he plays them, and I expect this series to be no different. I'm sure JB's going to have some family in the building, some extended family in the building. Yeah, it's going to get ugly. I want to give Atlanta Hawks Game 3 off respect. I do want to give them Game 3. By the way, this is one of those weird series where I can see every game being close, but Boston coming out with wins at the end pretty much in every game. Remember that Golden State Warriors Portland Trail Blazers series from a few years back in which the Blazers got swept by the Warriors, who didn't have KD at the time, but every game was close, and Portland had the lead in most of those games. Fourth quarter, the Warriors' experience just took over. I expect this series to be similar to that. The Celtics just got too many hoopers, too many guys that been there, done that. They got too many bodies that could throw at Trae Young. I mean, look at what we're talking about here. We're talking about Marcus Smart, Malcolm Brogdon, Derek White's a guy that could play a few minutes on Trae Young. Just so many different guys, not to mention Jaylen Brown. They got so many bodies to throw at Trae. I expect this series to be too physical. And then when I look on the other end, I mean, are you expecting DeAndre Hunter to lock up Jason Tatum? Because I'm not. If DeAndre's not making shots, how do you justify keeping him on the court if Tatum's still getting 35-40? If you take DeAndre out of the game, you definitely ain't got nobody on the squad that can guard Tatum on that perimeter. That's a tough one for Boston. They would have been better as 8, but I understand taking care of business in Miami. I ain't mad at that. The one thing I think Atlanta has going for them this year, before we get up out of this year, is they got a new coach and Quinn Snyder. And oftentimes we see guys play harder for new coaches. I mean, play out of their minds for new coaches. I know it's the playoffs. Everybody should be playing at a crazy level right now, but the Atlanta Hawks got a lot riding on this series. Look, I was told a couple years back from somebody who would know that there was some drama going on in the Hawks organization over some women, right? And I was told that it involved key players. I'll leave it at that. You can do what you want to with that information. That's always never good, and that's something that the typical fan doesn't hear about, doesn't know about, and it can affect play. From what I've seen of Quinn Snyder's Atlanta Hawks over the last month or so of the year, they look pretty darn competitive. They don't look to have had those problems about women or whatever behind the scenes. They look to have put it behind them, and they're playing pretty good ball right now. They've been pretty much 500 the entire year. Literally, they've been 500 pretty much every step of the way. If you go 500 against the Boston Celtics, you get to Game 7 at least, and then you lose. But, I mean, I'm expecting the Atlanta Hawks to come out and compete in every game. I just think they don't have the bodies to guard the Boston Celtics' best players on the perimeter. I don't. Also, Robert Williams is a guy that can offset a little bit of that offensive rebounding from Clint Capella and Onyeka Okongwu. So I got the Boston Celtics winning this one in 5 games. Let me know who you got winning this one. Talk to your boy. I want to know what team and in how many games. Let's have some fun with this one. The next series we're going to do is the New York Knicks, the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think that one will be a lot more competitive than this one. You want to stay tuned and check out that video as well. All right, I'm out.